Hi everyone, this is Janelle Parkinson, and this is my poster based off our research project we did this semester. And our project is called Sugar Consumption Among BYU Idaho Students. I was going to zoom in as I talk to you so you can read the really small font everywhere. As introduction, sugar consumption has tripled worldwide, and it has especially increased in the United States. And there are many foods that contain natural sugars, such as fruits and vegetables, but there are even more foods that contain sugar that has been added. And the amount of these added sugars in processed foods are dramatically increasing, and it's progressively getting more difficult to know how much added sugar one is consuming because most food labels do not indicate the presence of added sugars. And the US Dietary Guidelines recommend sugar consumption should be less than 10% of daily calories. But even still, most American adults consume much more added sugars than that, and it's not recommended for a healthy diet. And this overconsumption of sugar leads to both physical and psychological health problems, which include weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, dental caries, and depression. And to further determine sugar consumption among adults, we conducted a study, and the questions we wanted to answer were, are BYU Idaho students conscious of the prevalence of sugar in the foods they eat and how much sugar they consume on a daily basis? And are BYU Idaho students aware of the numerous health risks linked to excessive sugar consumption, specifically overweight and obesity, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, dental caries, and depression? And finally, what causes BYU Idaho students to increase their sugar consumption? So for our methods, we did a simple random sample of the BYU Idaho students, and the majority of this population are female at 55% and 45% male, and the majority are single, 58% and 41% are married. So we asked for approval from the Institutional Review Board, and once we got their approval, they gave us 300 random student email addresses to send our survey to. We created a survey through Qualtrics called Sugar and Health Risk Awareness at BYU Idaho. And it has 25 multiple choice, yes, no, and Likert scale questions. And so that survey was sent out to the 300 email addresses provided. All responses were anonymous. And to analyze the data, chi-square testing was completed, as well as linear regression, and both Qualtrics and Excel were used for the analysis. So our results, we received 47 responses out of 300 surveys distributed. More females responded than males, most of them being married and then some single. And the ages greatly varied among the respondents. And 16 of the respondents had taken a college-level nutrition class. So the majority of respondents either sometimes or never looked at the nutrition facts on food labels. Males were more likely to drink 2 or more sugary drinks each day compared to women. And 96% of respondents were able to associate diabetes and weight gain as a health risk of high sugar consumption, and 94% matched dental caries, as displayed in these figures that I'll go over. And midday to evening were the highest reported times for sugar consumption, with boredom and celebration and feeling stressed out being the highest reasons for sugar consumption. So my first figure here, I'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see it, displays the sugar consumption over the past 2 weeks. So we asked everyone to rate their sugar consumption. So males, 4 said extremely high, 3 high, 11 moderate, and 1 extremely low. And while females, only 1 said extremely high, 9 said high, 12 said moderate, and 6 said low. And so most of them did say moderate. And then these were all of the health problems that we gave for people to choose, and they wanted to see if they could correctly associate the right health problems to their sugar consumption. So 96% were able to get diabetes and weight gain. 94% said dental caries, 70% said heart disease, and 68% said depression. And these are also the reasons given for why foods high in sugar were consumed, with boredom being the first one, celebration being the next highest, and feeling stressed out also being for a high reason. So our response rate was 16%, which was lower than we were thinking, but we suggest that it could be higher had there been an incentive for responding, and then also if they had a longer time to respond, or if there was a reminder to complete the survey. And the people who responded, the demographics were closely similar to BYU Idaho students' demographics as a whole. And while the majority of the respondents reported rarely or never looking at food labels, it would be difficult to determine the amount of sugar being consumed each day. And of those reported looking at the food labels, many look at the sugar content. So it is suggested that people are trying to at least monitor their sugar intake. But even still, most still reveal their sugar consumption is between moderate and high. So even though they are being aware of their sugar consumption, it is still pretty high. And even though most of the respondents had not taken a college level nutrition class, the high majority were able to correctly link the health problems that are associated with high sugar consumption. So this suggests that they either learned this information from other sources or they just simply guessed. So there could be more research to determine how the respondents were able to make these links. And based on the respondents' answers, it's determined that sugar consumption increases as the day progresses, and males consume a higher amount of daily sugar beverages, and females consume more sugary foods. So one suggestion we came up with for this is that maybe there's an energy boost that is needed or later in the day, but more research would be needed to determine if it's the caffeine that people were needing or just the sugar. But in conclusion, we decided that BYU Idaho students are aware of the associated health risks to high sugar consumption, but still students continue to consume high levels of sugar each day. So we concluded that a health promotion campaign to decrease sugar consumption could be beneficial for BYU Idaho students. And I also listed some of the references I used there. Well, thanks for listening.